Hello,
Assalamu alaikum.
welcome back to Dastan Geeky with the Doctor and.
The Master.
So tell us, Master, what have you been up to?
These last few days, what I've been up to is I've been going through my old comics, and I've specifically been reading crossovers.
Crossovers. What do you mean by crossovers? Crossovers meaning superheroes in another superheroes comic or different companies?
Well, generally, crossover would mean anything from two different titles crossing over to two different titles of different companies, intercompany crossovers. It can be one property that belongs to another company meeting at the property that belongs to another company. And it's not restricted to just comics. For example, one of the most exciting crossovers to have happened, and a lot of people don't realize, a lot of the youth at this point don't realize that it's actually a crossover, though now it's pretty much united, is when we were kids, there used to be less crossovers, all right? So the whole idea of a crossover, it's like a special event that's going to happen once every 2-3 years. And so one of the things that we always used to talk about,
Yeah.
and there was always more factionalization in those days, was this: I'm a Sega boy, you're a Nintendo boy. If you have a Nintendo in your house, then you're a Nintendo boy.
Yeah.
And if you have a Sega in your house, then you're a Sega boy.
Yeah.
And if you're a Sega boy, no matter what happens, your favorite character is Sonic the Hedgehog and not Mario.
True.
And if you're a Nintendo boy, no matter what happens, your favorite character is Mario and not Sonic. So this was very common. अबे बाबा सोनिक जो है ना वो बहुत आला है. वो तो तुम्हारे मारियो को एक स्पिन करेगा, मारियो का तो टांग ही कट जाएगा. अबे चल बे कैसी बातें करता है बाबा. Sonic Mario debates was something that happened out of the blue, sitting, eating, drinking. It would happen.
Yeah.
So what people don't realize, and this was something that like blew our minds away when it finally happened, is then suddenly they started meeting each other in video games.
They did?
Yes,
I
Smash
know.
Bros and the racing game, and there's so many video games now in which Sonic and Mario come together, and it was something unheard of, unthought of, it was
Unprecedented.
yes, right? I mean, I'll tell you one of those things that's still lasting,
Yeah.
and it's another one thing. Whoa, wouldn't that be cool? And it just hasn't happened, and but we shouldn't say it never will, because if something like this could happen, then anything could happen. For example, we all think about it. We've all talked about it. Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter.
They just. Has there ever been a crossover?
No, there's been
There's been a
similar.
Tekken-
There's been a
Tekken versus
Tekken and Street Fighter
Street
crossover.
Fighter, yeah.
There's been a Mortal Kombat DC Universe crossover. There's been a Street Fighter
Capcom,
Marvel
yeah,
crossover.
Capcom
and you have
yeah.
the Capcom, the
Yeah,
Capcom
it's
fighting
same
games in
thing.
which various Capcom characters come in.
Yeah.
And so crossovers, I think they're freaking amazing. They give you it's a fanboy's dream,
Yeah.
right? It settles the questions everybody always has.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting topic to talk about, because there has been so many crossovers that have blew our mind away in TV shows
Right. And of late,
comics.
it's become a stable. I mean, it used to be something that was, oh, no way they did that. But now, I mean, people take it for granted. I mean, crossovers now happen in movies.
Yeah.
And that was something that, wasn't like a mainstream common occurrence. I mean, the shared universe concept, it's even that is, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have, this Marvel Cinematic Universe, you have the DC Expanded Universe, is that what they call it?
The DC Extended Universe,
Extended Universe, right?
Entertainment or
But
something.
that's crazy, I mean,
Yeah.
in our days, that's just unheard of. So you have all these movies, and they're connected, and they're on the same. I mean, in the old days, when I saw the Michael Keaton Batman, it was one of the most amazing things we ever saw,
Yeah.
right? The Christopher Reeve Superman was the most amazing thing I ever saw, but it was kind of like understood. It wasn't even something that came to a thought that they're in the same universe or they would ever meet. It was just something that's understood. Of course they wouldn't.
Crossing over.
Right. So I mean, even though yes, we read the comics, and we know Superman, Batman are in the same universe, but it's kind of understood when a movie is made. The movie is made in a way that, well, that's universe on its own. If you watch any superhero movie, that superhero would be the first superhero to have appeared on Earth, and he would have nothing to do with any other movie of a superhero, even if from the same company. of that time.
I wonder why though, because right now laws are being followed and people they expect like everybody has 100 lawyers on their side. Companies. Back then, I don't think that was the case. So why didn't we have many
I don't know.
crossovers back
Maybe it
then?
was. I don't know. But I think one of the thing was okay. Maybe this is a theory. Just came to our mind. Maybe one of the thing was is that geekiness
Hmm.
wasn't mainstream, so they weren't expecting the masses to understand the concept of shared universes. I mean, you expect the handful of pimply young boys who read comics to understand such a concept,
Yeah.
but the masses weren't. But right now, since geekiness is mainstream, people can understand the whole idea. I mean, look, we just had a Superman versus Batman movie.
I know that's something that I did not expect to see ever in my lifetime, and that is one thing that I always say that to people who are like, "Man, it's the shittiest movie," and blah blah blah. Dude, it's fucking Batman versus Superman.
It happened.
Watch it for what it is.
I
Love it for
remember
what it is.
From I think 88 onwards. When did Predator 2 come out? Do you know?
89, 90.
All right. From that point onwards, because right at the end when Danny Glover, his name is Danny Glover.
Danny
right?
Glover.
Danny Glover goes inside the Predator ship.
Yeah.
And he sees a trophy room with all those skulls, and one of
Yeah.
the skull is that of Alien.
Yeah.
What do they call the alien? Xenomorphs.
Xenomorph.
A xenomorph skull. Yes,
Huh.
we are that nerdy people. The xenomorph skull was there, and since then, like all the rumors start flying, right? And then they had the comic in Predator.
Did they have a comic before that, or did the comic come after that?
No, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But around the same time. But what happened is then the rumors kept flying that an Aliens vs Predator movie was in the works from that time till the time that it actually happened.
To be honest, that was the first crossover movie, right? A versus movie that we saw, or was that
Versus.
Freddy versus Jason?
Oh no! Alien vs Predator came before Freddy vs Jason, if I'm not mistaken. But don't get me wrong. Even though there are more crossovers now, it's not like we haven't had them. I'll tell you some that I saw in the 80s. This one which was a real hit, at least in Pakistan over here in Karachi. I mean, we all loved it. We all got a VHS tape on it. We watched it. We as kids, we used to reenact the fight sequence.
King
that
Kong.
was
King Kong versus
Godzilla.
Yeah.
Oh, that was crazy, man. Of course, I just saw it a couple of days ago, and man, the special effects are really bad even for that time. All right.
There were two men in costumes fighting.
Well, I mean, most kaiju movies of that time were two men in costume fighting, but even for that time, the costumes were really bad. I mean, 60s Godzilla movies and 70s Godzilla movies were still better than that. But nonetheless, it was a phenomenal concept. Man, King Kong versus Godzilla.
And King Kong was the good guy in that, and Godzilla was the
King
bad
Kong
guy.
was the good guy. That's what we saw. Although I don't know if it's true or not. I never really went to confirm it.
I haven't seen it recently. I saw it years
No, but
and
there
years
was a
ago.
rumor about it.
What's that?
There was a rumor about it that there were two versions of the movie made.
Really?
For the Japanese audiences, they had Godzilla be the good guy,
Oh.
and for the American audiences, they had But then this was before the internet days, so I didn't even check up it now.
I remember
Somebody just
glimpses.
needs to Google now to find out if it's true.
I remember glimpses in which we see King Kong fight Godzilla, and then he swims away into the ocean. That's what I remember from that.
Oh, you
that
don't
movie.
remember all the cool stuff, like
I remember the cool stuff.
how Godzilla burned all his chest hair. So the first confrontation that King Kong has with Godzilla, right? King Kong loses, and like out of the blue, Godzilla just opens his mouth, his spikes glow or whatever, and bam, and the blue fire comes out of his mouth, and it burns all of King Kong's chest hair. So he just scratches his head like and he walks away. King Kong actually walks away after the first battle because you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, fuck man, that's insane. So, yeah, one of the oldest crossovers.
No, there have been more. All right. In the 80s, we're talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, such a new phenomenon. In the 80s, and used to also come on PTV. The Bill Bixby, is that his name? Hulk show used to come.
Yeah.
Right, with Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk. Now,
Lou Ferrigno, not
Lou
Ferrigno.
Ferrigno, Ferraro, whatever his name is, man. फरंगी सारा था तो गोरा ही ना. Alright. So, oh, he was also Hercules, by the way.
Was he?
Oh yeah, he's been Hercules. He's been Sinbad.
In what?
In movies, man, in the 80s.
Jason and the Argonauts.
No, just actual Hercules movies with
Oh.
him playing as Hercules, and
Nice.
even Arnold Schwarzenegger's been Hercules.
Interesting. But
You never saw the Arnold Schwarzenegger Hercules?
No,
Okay, guys. Okay, this is good geeky stuff for you. Track it down. It was called Hercules in New York.
Oh, I remember scenes from that. I don't remember the whole movie, but I do remember Arnold Schwarzenegger dressed up in old Greek wear and walking through New York
There was
City.
a whole genre known as sword and sandal, and
Yeah.
a lot of these movies were Italian, by the way, dubbed. And what was so interesting, because this is something I know now because of the internet, is a lot of the movies we saw a lot of Sinbad movies, right? And now when I go to the internet, I find out that those Sinbad movies.
Are you talking about Sinbad the actor or?
No, not the actor, like Sinbad the character,
I know,
right?
yeah.
So they're like sword and sorcery type Sinbad movies, and a whole bunch of them some with Lou Ferrigno, and
Yeah.
they were all Italian productions, right? So when you go online, you check them out, you realize, oh, so in Italy, they were actually, for example, a Hercules movie, but at that point in the States, Sinbad was more famous, so when they redubbed it, it became Sinbad rather than Hercules, and vice versa, all that kind of stuff. But now let me tell you of the coolest crossover that reminds me of.
Go ahead.
And
bro,
that
go
was
ahead.
a kick-ass movie.
Go for it.
Are you ready for this?
I am ready for this.
Samson versus Hercules.
Samson versus Hercules.
Yes!
Nice.
Oh, that was such a cool movie with like a guest star, or with a lot of guests, like a side character that also guest starred was Odysseus was also in it. Dude, Samson versus Hercules.
For our fans, who is Samson? Can you please just quickly tell them?
Oh, for our fans our age, I'll tell you who Samson is because we all went to the cinema and watched it. Samson and Delilah, Baba. वही आजकल तो वो है ना मशहूर क्या नाम है जकर वकर क्या नाम है उसका जकी वकी लंबे बाल वाला इसके क्लिपर से बाल काट रहे थे क्लिपर से उसके बाल काट देना उसको कूट रहे थे वकार zaka I mean like Waqar Zaka's strength and powers in his hair, right? So they're gonna cut. So he's not the original person to come up with that idea, you know. We had Samson Delilah way in the Bambino या किसी में पुराने सनों में लगी थी यार आला movie थी. So that's Samson. We all know Hercules is, right?
True.
Right now, most people probably know him as The Rock played him in the last.
The Rock played him in the last one, yeah.
उससे पहले, if you're a little older than that, then Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah.
And if you're a little older than that, then again Lou Ferrigno. What's his name?
Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger also played Hercules.
My favorite Hercules was Jason and the Argonauts.
Oh, the original Jason and the Argonauts?
The original Jason.
Or
and
the Hallmark
Argonauts.
one?
The original one.
Yeah, the cool Hercules.
It was good. It was
Yeah.
good. So yeah, you were saying?
I don't know what I said. Yeah, so crossovers. So we had that. I mean,
So
as far
let's,
as old classic crossovers are concerned.
Let's talk about memorable crossovers. Like crossovers you didn't know but you saw and you were surprised by them.
All right. Well, one I already mentioned, Hercules and Samson. I mean, I don't know, it's probably a movie from the 60s or something.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it. I came across it much later, I think on YouTube or something like that. And it blew my mind away. No, actually, no, it's coming on television one day.
Local TV over here.
No, on HBO or something like that. And so that was a cool crossover. Crossover that has been there, but I saw it later, was, and it was actually really kick-ass. Billy the Kid versus Dracula.
Oh, that was also a B movie?
I don't know, it was black and white, it was old, I don't know.
Yeah, I think
all genre movies of that era were considered B.
All these movies are B movies.
But Dracula versus Billy the Kid versus Dracula was really cool. I don't know, maybe it's public domain because I saw it on YouTube. बहुत आला movie.
Could be one of those movies which film school students.
No. It was a proper movie from the
from a studio
50s or something. Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice.
What else? That one. Although I did not enjoy it as much. Frankenstein versus the Wolfman.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking about right now. Should I mention it or not? But one of those surprising crossovers was for me was in that X-Files episode in which they crossed over with Cops. Yeah. They shot it like a reality
that was
show.
really cool, man.
And they were looking for a werewolf in that, if I remember correctly.
Nice tea.
Nice tea.
Because They can probably hear me sipping on it. Might as well let them know we're having tea at the same
Well,
time.
of course, we're humans. I mean, we have our needs.
So,
So,
कहते हैं, yeah,
a crossover.
Cops. You know that cops that particular episode.
Yeah.
My people I know who were like big fans of Cops at the time. Was Star Plus नया नया आ रहा था सबके पास
Yeah.
dish था, right? People used to watch Cops. So I used to show that episode with the X-File title forwarded, and I said, hey, let's watch this episode of Cops, right? And just tell them it's just an episode of Cops they haven't seen. It was a lot of fun, man.
It was cool. A crossover that I'm looking forward to. I haven't heard any news about recently, but they said that they're gonna go forward with it, and it's going to happen. Is 21 Jump Street mixed with Men in Black?
Yes, I've been hearing. I don't know if it's a rumor, if it's actually happening. But
It wasn't rumor till about 6 months ago, but I haven't heard anything after that. So
right.
I hope it wasn't a rumor. I hope it happens. It's an excellent concept, and it's going to be insanely funny. Because
All right. So crossovers.
Hmm.
Let's make this interesting then. Is there any other crossover that the audience might not know of because we're way older than them?
Well, I don't know. That's a different episode. We'll talk about spin-offs in a different episode. Yeah.
Well, very quickly, I'll tell you one crossover.
Hmm.
So there used to be a show, and anybody from our generation who was, or even later, who was watching STN, we all know about was Manimal.
Hmm.
Now, there was another show at the same time known as The Wizard.
Yeah.
Wasn't as famous, and these are all one season shows, basically.
The Manimal was a 6-episode series.
Yeah. They just
The Wizard probably had more. I'm
but
not
it
sure.
didn't last more than a season.
Okay.
But it had great fan following. Wizard. Whatever. The point is, there was this very interesting thing that happened. So there was this one particular episode in Manimal in which Manimal
Yeah.
they discover
Yeah.
क्या कहते हैं, they discover a feral child,
Okay.
right? And for whatever reason, bad guys after. So there's this. So what happens is, and then the bad guys after, and then they grab the feral child and
Yeah.
the kidnapper and they put her in a trunk and they put her in the water. So Manimal has to turn to a dolphin, go and whatever. So the Wizard, I don't know which one came first, but they had the same writers and producer, whatnot. So they literally had the same story.
Just because the show was on STN for us doesn't mean they had the same writer, producer, and
no,
everything.
Wikipedia says so.
They did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of these shows actually literally have the same writers and producers.
I stand corrected.
So, क्या कहते हैं? So they had this exact same story. Find the same feral child, right?
The same feral child.
Well, different actors,
Okay.
but like a character. क्या कहते हैं? The bad guys after, put him in a trunk, put him in the water, and then the Wizard. The only difference was instead of him turning into a dolphin, he has a mechanical remote control dolphin goes and rescues.
Nice.
So that's like kind of like a crossover.
No wonder those shows got cancelled because they didn't have any original ideas. They kept on ripping each other off.
Okay. Manimal, this beloved Manimal who has a cult following now, especially where a lot of people our generation just
Yeah.
love Manimal. Whatever. ठीक है ना? He had a proper crossover in the 90s. Same actor, Professor Jonathan Chase. He came in a short-lived, one episode of a short-lived superhero show called Nightman. And it was very interesting because it was Manimal and Nightman teaming up to fight a time-traveling Jack the Ripper.
No way, man.
Yeah, I saw it.
I need to download that.
You do?
Downloading is illegal, but
Well,
we don't have any other options.
But look, if somebody's put it on YouTube, somebody's put it on YouTube, man.
yeah, it's not our fault.
Just happened to come across it.
You know, a crossover that I would have loved to see, maybe it's there somewhere out there we don't know about, and that would have been Airwolf and Knight Rider.
That would be very cool.
Insanely very cool.
Very, very cool.
It would have been awesome. I mean, imagine Airwolf. One of them has been hacked by some evil corporation, and the only thing that could stop that thing is either one of those.
One or the
machines.
other.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Whatever works.
Fine. So let's do this crossover thing then.
Yeah.
All right, let's work this out.
Yeah.
On similar grounds as LXG, like a shared universe.
Shared
of,
universe.
Okay. So let's put this all together. So we had shows in which the main character was teamed up with a very advanced or even intelligent vehicle, right? So we had Knight Rider, we had Airwolf,
Yeah.
right? We had Street Hawk,
Yeah.
right? We had there's another one, Highwayman.
Yeah.
All right, although Highwayman
Yeah,
was
but I think this was what I was gonna surprise you with the twist ending, that if when Knight Rider goes to fight Airwolf and they both get compromised because Airwolf, as he's fighting it, usko
use the same technology.
infects him with the same virus, and they're all both gone rogue. Both the riders, the human counterparts, are dead because they've killed them.
No, but Airwolf didn't have an AI.
Yeah, but it's got an AI
Right,
because of
right.
that virus.
Oh, it gains one.
It gains one.
Yeah.
It basically does a somersault, and the pilot falls and he dies. So the Airwolf is gone rogue. It's destroying nations. Knight Rider is destroying cities. And who do we call to stop them? The Highwayman, because he has a truck which has a car. It has a bike. It has a helicopter.
And yeah, it makes sense because Highwayman was set a little in the future, by the way.
Yeah,
So
because
in the
it's
future they went
desolate.
rogue.
Yeah, they went rogue.
Another interesting is
That's how
is
the apocalypse
the
happens.
organizations of all these vehicles was the same. It was a secret crime-fighting counter-terrorist
CIA type,
organization which used to, So yeah, they're all part of the same organization. So let's take it up a level. So where did all this technology came from?
Skynet.
No.
No?
Because then we have then we have to introduce all Terminator. We're sticking to just vehicles and we're just sticking to 80s TV shows. So here's where it came from. Have you noticed Knight Rider's front, the bonnet of the car?
Oh, Cylons.
Yes. So Roswell crash 1945 or 47, whatever it was. I don't care right now. It was a Cylon ship. They backward engineered. What do you call it? Reverse engineered it. Got that technology out.
Cylons were the evil bots from Battlestar Galactica.
Yes. For those who don't know, who weren't there in the cool days.
If you don't know what Cylons are, you should just turn this podcast off and never unfollow us right now.
Yeah. So they probably know it because they're a reboot of it, no?
Yeah, which was good in its own.
No,
regard.
but the shows that came in our time are always going to be better than shows that come on your time. Khatam baat. All right. So now, so the Cylons, right, is their technology. Blah, blah, blah. But the Cylons, they're still just robots. They haven't gained sentience, right? They're robots because they've been created by an alien race and they're following that alien race, and that was just a drone. In the original Battlestar Galactica. Okay, for those who've seen the reboot, let me tell you what the biggest difference between the two was. In the reboot, the Cylons were created by man. In the original, the Cylons were not created by man and they revolted against man. The Cylons were created by some alien race. They revolted against that alien race, and that's when mankind encounters them and has a fight with them. In the original Battlestar Galactica, every now and then, the Cylons, when the show Cylon Homeworld, they were shown with these little Komodo dragons on leashes.
Yeah.
Later we find out that it was this reptilian race that originally created them and then they revolted against him. But in our show right now, that hasn't happened yet. So that reptilian race is planning an invasion of Earth, and they're going to disguise themselves as people. They're going to come in as friends. They're also going to be known as the Visitors.
Yes.
Which also had a reboot.
Yeah. And because the Cylons haven't got they haven't got sentient, they're still following how they develop sentience, because there's this one boy who's turned into a reporter and he's gone and he's found out that there's alien landing and the aliens are infiltrating us, and he goes to this warehouse where these people and these aliens are gathering, and they spot him, and when they spot him, his way of fighting is that he turns into a car because he's turbo team, and that's when they infect him and he turns into Knight Rider.
अभी कोई आकर हमें कूद देगा, turbo teen डाल दिया.
Well, it's a car show, man.
Okay. Now here's this. Okay, so finally they start getting sentience. The first thing that gains sentience is the software itself, the programs, right?
Yeah.
So how does this happen? This sentience starts with, what's his name, man? This guy, Jeff Bridges in video games.
Oh, Tron.
No, what's the guy's name?
Jack
Flynn, right?
Flynn.
So the first person ever to get out of the game world and be in the real world is
Flynn.
no Automan.
Automan and Cursor. Yes. So there you go, folks. We just developed a whole new universe for us, and keep a lookout for future episodes because we're gonna. I think we have like a tendency of going off topic and creating universes on the topic that
Very
we're
well.
discussing on.
So, I hope you enjoyed an episode dealing with crossovers and shared universes. We will do, because there's still so much more, we will
Yeah.
do a follow up episode of this one day. And
And hopefully next week we're gonna talk about either interdimensional travel or spin-offs or Hakuna Matatas.
let us know of your ideas of crossovers, and we'll mention them.
See you later.
Allah Hafiz.